So the tech test is over, and now we don't know how long it is till we play again. But one thing's for certain, whenever this game releases, it's going to be Game of the Year. But even with the game being so good, there are some things in the game I would like to see changed or expanded upon, as I feel like if these things get done, it's only going to make the game better in the long run. As let's be real, most of us have been there, done that with Psycho Frontier, and we don't want to see another good game get shut down. So the list of things I'm going to go through are the quest system expanded, the queen fight getting changed, the end game, modifying of legendary weapons, skill tree, and cosmetics. So a lot of the quests are just go to a certain area and fetch said item. You don't even have to survive to be able to complete the quest. So I would like to see where you have to go to a certain area, grab something, and maybe take it to another map to then stash it somewhere else. Or more exploration type quests, much like the Flickering Threat quest, where you have to fix a generator in one spot and then you run down the corridor and around to the vent shaft where you have to flip a switch, but take that where you find an item that you have to pick up and then say take to the other side of the map to then place it. And I don't mean carrying like those huge boxes that you have to do like in the quest Power Out. I mean just quests that give you more things to do. And honestly, we just need more quests in the game, as I wasn't particularly fast with the quests and I was still able to get them done within 3 days. And for the first day I was mainly PvPing and looting. Honestly, I'm pretty sure these aren't the only quests we're going to get. I'm sure we're going to get more in the full release, as I'm sure I could probably speedrun the quest in maybe a day and a half, and that's on the high end. And something my friend noticed that I didn't, is that certain quests unlock stuff for you to be able to purchase from certain traders, and I feel like that should be communicated more in the quest rewards. Or if it's a level up thing, I feel like that should be communicated better, as it's great completing quests and leveling up, but also knowing everything you've unlocked from doing so would be good for the entire player base. Now we move on to the queen fight. This one's tricky because I honestly loved every second of the queen fight. I was trying to do the quest while also getting third party by players. It just reminds me of doing the dungeon back in Psycho Frontier, only instead of it being in a small room, it's out in the open, where anyone can shoot you from anywhere. So you have to develop strats to be able to take care of the fight properly. But I feel like even with the perfect strat, the fight takes far too long. So I think one of two things need to happen. Either the health of the queen itself gets nerfed, and from what I've been told, I think one of the devs said on Shroud's stream that the queen has 38k health. I feel like that should be reduced down to 32,000 health, as I feel like the queen is just a little bit too tanky, or maybe even 30k health. As much as I enjoy the fight, newer players to this particular genre of game will not have a hope of killing it, as even with a 3-man squad with people who are fully equipped can take nearly the entire round to kill the queen. So I think for the wider player base to have a chance, the health nerf is probably one of the best things you could do. As the other thing that could be done is extending the Harvester event timer by 15 minutes. So instead of 30 minutes of a match, you have 45 minutes. Maybe you could make it when the Harvester event gets completed that an extra 15-minute timer gets put on, so that people inside the raid will know that the Harvester event got completed and that they're going to attempt the queen, but still have the same cutoff time for raids for people spawning in. So it would still be the 15-minute mark that people would stop spawning, but when the Harvester event gets completed, that would jump up to 30 minutes. So it means people would have a chance at actually defeating the queen, and you can keep it at its 38k health then, so it would be quite the challenge to be able to get it complete, as I know a lot of people are going to struggle with this, and it's going to end up being hard camped by cheaters, who will just kill people, take the part, and sell it to others so they can get their upgrade done, as that's a shame with games like these. The RMT scene is usually very heavy and it screws over quite a bit of the player base most of the time. So it's just food for thought, which then leads me on to the end game, as at the minute, whenever you complete all the quests, it looks like the only things left to do is just PvPing, fighting the queen, and getting all of the blueprints. Which, yes, getting the blueprints is going to be a grind, and so is the queen, but I feel like there should be more events like the queen, or like the one during the previous playtest that we got, which honestly I feel like you already have that cooking, but I still feel like it needs to be said, as a lot of games like these always fail in the end game. It usually just leads to a PvP fest, which then in turn leads to the player base getting burnt out, and then it's just mass complaining and whining about how the weapons are unbalanced or the armors are unbalanced. But then again, gamers are always going to complain. It's always the case. Speaking of complaining, I'm going to complain about the legendary weapons now, as I feel like you should be able to mod them for PvP. As yes, they are predominantly for stuff like the queen fight, but I feel like there should be a mod slot where you have to then go and craft an augment, like the way you have with the anvil. So it does a plus percentage more damage to players, as at the end of the day, people are going to want to use these guns for PvP, so there should be a viable option for people to use them in PvP. As an example, me and my friend Vin, we were using the Jupiter, and we shot a guy who was either in green or blue armor that had a Stitcher, and we both headshot him, and he did not go down. I feel like the grind to get that weapon should have some sort of reward in PvP. And I'm not saying it should, you have the weapon and it's instantly going to do massive amounts of damage to players right from the get-go. That's why I've suggested making a mod slot on the weapon so that you could make it viable for PvP via extra grinding to be able to get the augment you need to make it viable in PvP. As I feel like that's a good way to balance the gun. Means you're risking more for something that's had more time invested into it. And with that, we come to skill trees. I think the skill tree is a fantastic idea, but I feel like it doesn't explain enough of what you're getting in the skill tree. As I know a lot of people would like to see like percentages or specific numbers of what you're getting for each skill point, as it would feel more impactful in the long run of where you would place your points, which then also leads me to there should be a cap on how many skill points you get, and that you should have multiple characters that you can spec out different ways, like in Hunt Showdown, but you don't lose the character on death, as that could end up being a viable monetization path where people can buy extra character slots on their account. As I know I'm probably going to have multiple different accounts, as I'll probably want to do certain challenge runs, as honestly that's just how I like playing these types of games. Which, speaking of monetization, the Cosmetic System. It's great we got to see 3 of the battle passes during this tech test, but I feel like customizing my character did not feel good at all, as I feel like I should be able to mix and match stuff I've got via other cosmetics. So for example, have a different pair of gloves with a different top, bottoms, hat or helmet, and shoes, as it could lead to people connecting with their character more, and the other reason, it would make you more money in the long run. As with the current way the system is, I know for myself I'm going to pick one skin and stick to it, whereas if I'm able to mix and match my skins, I can craft one that's personal to me, which might mean I spend money on many different battle passes and many different skins so I can get the look that I want. And I'm sure many other people feel the same way as me, as we want to support the game, but if we're not able to chop and change the skins around how we want them to look, rather than just be a predetermined, here's the skin, do you want the hat on, do you want the glasses off, and that's really it, and maybe like what, a cosmetic thing on the belt. I don't feel like that's a deep enough customization system for a game like this, as Psycho Frontier had this system. I know a lot of other players praised that system as they were able to craft the skin the way they liked it, and sometimes people bought only certain skins to be able to get, say, a certain set of gloves or a certain set of boots. So again, it's just some food for thought. These were just the things that stuck out to me during this tech test, and I'm sure in time I'll probably think of maybe 1 or 2 more things, but realistically these are the main things I feel like should be changed in the game. And hell, let me know down in the comments, what would you like to see changed in the game, or even added to the game? As honestly, this is probably the best extraction shooter I have played to date, and that's saying something with the amount of hours I sunk into Psycho Frontier. I'd say if we had Psycho Frontier with all the stuff that's in our creators, there would be no other game to play. And a lot of the old Psycho players feel the same way. And a lot of them are looking past the third person perspective in the game because of how good this extraction shooter is. Right, I've been waffling long enough. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks very much. And if you fancy sticking about, go and hit that sub button, as I know I'm going to be doing a lot more Arc Raiders content. Hell, I've got to go over all the footage I've done over the last couple of days. So yeah, good luck out there.